Nice.
And we'll go ahead and kick this off. It's just at the moment, Ken, it's you and me, but we'll.
Oh, great.
The others will.
Nice.
And I'm sure.
Well, getting FaceTime with you is a valuable thing, so I appreciate that.
It's your lucky day.
Yeah,
Just think you're doing it from California too.
Yeah. Good timing. So, was that property going to be demolished, or did you think there's?
The last conversation I had with the buyer was that he was going to clean it up and rehab the house.
Okay. Yeah.
It turns out that it's next door to his sister. So
really? Yeah.
It's a small world, right?
Yeah. Well, the lot looked pretty big. It looked like
it's 0.48 acres, so it's almost a half acre.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. So the land itself was worth more than what I sold it for.
Well, I kind of wondered that. I mean, I saw that price, and I got reminded. The lesson I learned from that is do not ever, why not drill into this opportunity? You had talked it up quite a bit, and I was like, well. And then I thought about it after, a couple hours, and it's like, I should be looking into this thing, And
I had several others follow up with me and say, hey, I'm interested. When they found out it was pending, they said they were interested too, but what's the old saying? You snooze, you lose.
Right. Well, and then, you just never know what an opportunity looks like. Right.
And, what I was trying to tell everybody was that, there was probably more than the purchase price just in the salvage income.
Yeah.
Because there was so much there.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, a lot of it was going to cost money to dispose of, but
sure.
But there was income to be had from all the steel and copper and.
Well, that's an excellent point. Do you do that very often?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, if it would have been different timing, I might have kept it myself and done it.
Sure.
Because, it would have been nice to, I like to do the before and after comparisons, but too many things on my plate. I don't have an assistant yet in the office, to keep things going.
Sure. I mean, the math is always going to be situational, right?
Right.
Depending on where you are and how much stuff you're working and so forth.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, I was trying to remember what it went for. Was it
15?
That's what I thought. My goodness gracious. So I saw that and I thought, well, surely that's just, that's the price of the land.
Yeah. Right on the surface, you think, wow, there's something, I got to go look at this,
Right.
Such a good price. So,
yeah, that's great. So that was a lesson for me, as I said, it's like, what does an opportunity look like? It's not always going to look like what you think it looks like.
So let me just back up here and do my usual introduction.
Great. Absolutely. I'm gonna go on mute here.
This meeting today is for the monthly real estate investor, virtual real estate investor lunch, learn, and connect. It originally started as a physical lunch and learn, where it was designed to be just a networking thing, meet, shake hands, eat some lunch, build some relationships, and just do a Q&A type of thing for the event, for the day. So that was great until COVID hit. And then, so in order to keep that going, we jumped on Zoom and we're doing the networking this way. And this may not last too much longer, with things as they are. We may go back and try a real physical meeting again. I just wanted to mention that, just be aware that the virtual side of these meetings may not keep happening. So just FYI for everybody. My name's Tim Cook with the West DFW REI Group, and we've been running this group for about 12 years, I think, coming up next month. So if you're on the call, welcome. Hope you enjoy these meetings. We don't have a topic for this particular meeting. Again, it's meant to be a Q&A and a networking thing. And, some of the other groups are not allowing the use of the chat, but I do. So if you want to share your information in the chat, your name, email, phone number, where you're located and what kind of deals you're looking for. And if you have something to offer other investors, you can put that in the chat as well so that everybody can share that and benefit from it. So with that, I'm going to open it up to the floor. And Ken, we can continue our conversation if you'd like about that property, or we can talk about anything else. And it's up to you. This is
Sure.
Again, it's intended to be a Q&A session and just kind of answer any questions to help you keep your business moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's great. And so I'm curious about just west of the Metroplex. Where do you see growth patterns, or what's a good place to look to find out that information about communities that are growing well?
All you have to do is drive down I-20.
Well, there's no doubt.
30.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's no doubt. But
it's just blowing up all the way along the I-30 and I-20 interstate area.
Mm-hmm.
Weatherford, everywhere you go in Weatherford, there's another new subdivision being built.
Right.
I'm not, honestly, Ken, I've never been a big researcher trying to look
Mm-hmm.
ahead to see what is happening in the future and where growth is going.
Uh-huh.
And I guess that's partially because I've just focused on trying to help the sellers that need help wherever they're at.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the wrong approach, but that's just the way I've always been.
Sure. And you're the best, there's nothing wrong with doing something that works also, right?
Yeah.
That's your niche, and that's what's repeatable.
Yep.
Have you done any new builds, build to rent or any of that
I've not.
stuff? Yeah.
I'm interested in doing that. There is a guy in Arlington that teaches that strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a matter of time for me trying to get over there and go through his program.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
it's something I want to do.
I
heard good things about it. It's just, the challenge that we all have today, is either finding houses to rehab and sell or finding land in order to build on.
Sure.
And it's got to be, I still believe this applies to land too, not just houses, but I've always been a believer in dealing directly with sellers, vice trying to go to the courthouse steps or going to wholesalers and so forth, because
mm-hmm.
They're taking a chunk of your profits out of that, by finding it. Yes, they deserve the profit. They found the property, they negotiated the deal, and they're putting it up for sale. But some of these guys are just way over inflating the houses and the land, and that makes it hard for someone like me to be able to make any money on it.
Sure. Yeah.
One of the reasons it's hard for me to make money on those wholesale deals is that we're fussy rehabbers. We don't just throw paint and carpet in it and call it a rehab. Our rehabs look like they're new builds. I mean, they're nice houses.
Yeah. And
it's just kind of one of the trademarks or signatures for us. We've been doing that and refining that for many years. Mm-hmm. And it shows, when we sell something. It shows in the end product and the price and
yeah. And I think you mentioned, that you've got a great relationship with a realtor who really knows how to market that. And so that back end is kind of set.
They are top producers in Fort mm-hmm. Worth for many years. And matter of fact, she just made a Facebook post here a couple of months ago that saying how blessed and lucky they are to have been involved in $23 million worth of real estate transactions in the last year.
Wow, that's great.
That's
during the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
my son is trying to buy a house and he's on their list, to set up MLS searches, to send them potential leads and stuff. And he found one he wanted to go look at, and they couldn't go for 2 days.
Hmm.
They couldn't show the house for 2 days because they had so many buyers appointments set up to
Oh my goodness.
show houses to,
Uh-huh.
and they were international buyers, so it's not just local.
Mhm.
So
That's great.
he just couldn't get out there to see the house. Now, I don't know if it's been sold now or not. That happened over the
Mhm.
weekend.
Yeah, yeah. That's interesting. So, I will ask you about a property I saw. It was from a wholesaler in Waxahachie. And, the bones of the house looked really, really good. And I was actually, I've been looking for quite a while. And so this one looked like it was had strong bones. And it was an elderly fella, one of these situations where, dad's been living there for 40 years, and so it's been added on and added on and added on. It was interesting that if you go out the patio, it's covered. So it's a covered patio, but then it goes into a building that had a pool in it. So the off the cuff estimate was about $12,000 to take that pool out. But I think most of the people, including myself, were just kind of, that was a deal breaker. It seemed you wouldn't want that pool there for a rental. And I was assuming.
So I just was telling somebody this the other day. Actually, I tell people this frequently. Can you hold just 1 second?
Absolutely.
I've got somebody trying to get in that's
Sure. Let me put you on.
having trouble getting in. I'm not sure why that is. I mean, there's only one link to register with.
Yeah, I just did it this morning. So as of this morning, it was working.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've had, maybe that's why nobody's here. It's just they're having trouble getting in. But I mean, there's only one link, one meeting scheduled for today. Just a second. Yeah, I've got to find an office assistant to be able to manage this kind of stuff for me,
Yeah. Have you ever had a virtual assistant?
I have for many
Okay.
years.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? How in the world?
Oh no, what?
Somebody, my assistant previously must have scheduled 2 events for today. How in the world did that happen?
On the website?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
in Zoom, where you set up the meeting.
Oh, sure. Gotcha.
And then may have posted, well, you had the link, so you had the right
As
link.
of this morning, it worked, but
This is weird that there's 2 meetings scheduled, and there's not a thing I can do about it right now. Okay, well, we'll just press on.
I'm gonna have to take my headphones off here and put plug this back in here. Can you still hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
So pools, that's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah, right.
So I tell this to a lot of people that ask me, And I see a lot of properties come across that have pools. But if you're thinking of, well, two things, it's a huge liability for you, whether you're renting it or whether you're going to rehab it. You know, if you're going to rehab it, you got to understand that, you know, you've got to keep it secured, and it's a risk if anybody happens to get in it, even though you might have gates locked and so forth. It's, to me, you know, you just got to be aware of it and be willing to deal with that risk. If it's a rental property, though, you know, you want to make sure you have additional liability insurance on that property. And then you want to make sure you've got a plan for keeping the pool treated and cleaned. You know, if you got a super sweet deal on it, you know, you can have somebody service it and have that right in the rental agreement, or, you know, you can have the tenants do it, but it's just, it's a really high risk. Hi, Ruth Ann. I'm not sure what happened with the links today, but somehow after you mentioned having trouble, and we don't have anybody else on the call but the three of us, I'm wondering if others had trouble too, but somehow Pam must have created 2 meetings for today. But why? I mean, Ken got in with the link on the calendar, so I'm not sure why nobody else is.
It's a mystery to me in the beginning.
I have no clue. But anyhow, welcome to
Did you register this morning, or had you done it earlier?
This morning.
Yeah, I don't have a clue. Sorry about that.
No problem.
I'm just a user, you know.
Hey, you know,
I didn't write the software or anything.
well, my whole job is about, you know, it's always stupid stuff. So,
yeah.
Well, I tell you what, my brother has a grandson who went to work for Zoom right out of college.
Oh, wow.
Actually, he couldn't find a job when he graduated in May, and it took him till like November to find a job, and it was with Zoom. And, you know, sometimes you just luck into a job with a company where somebody's either retiring or gets sick and retires early or transfers or something. And he has moved up so fast. I feel like I have a VIP at Zoom. He's got all kinds of promotions. So I'll talk to him about that.
Yeah, you do that. Tell him we want to know.
Yeah.
yes, no doubt.
Tell them you know a user that demands an answer.
Yeah.
So anyhow, Ken, on the pools, you know, pools are very high risk. You know, as far as rehabs go, they're a big chunk of change.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I see these nationwide wholesale brokerage companies, you know, wholesaling houses with pools in it. And first off, they're raising the prices to retail prices to start with. And then they'll put, oh, it's only a $30,000 rehab. Well, you're talking 50 or 60 on the house. And then you're talking about another 10, 15 to 20 on the pool. So,
Sure.
You know, pools are not cheap. And the other thing for consideration is, you know, is the pool even worth rehabbing, or is it better off to fill it in? Well, even that's not cheap.
Yeah.
I've only done one where we caved it in and filled it in, and that was quite a few years ago, and that cost $6,000 back then. Mm-hmm. So I can only imagine with the cost of labor and fuel and all that stuff today.
Sure.
You know, you're probably talking about a minimum, and that was a small pool, but a minimum of 10 grand.
Yeah.
But that's something you can go get an estimate on. I have one or two companies in my contacts that do that kind of work. But it certainly, you know, you don't want to automatically discount a property with a pool, but you got to make sure you think through that process.
Sure.
Before you purchase it.
Yeah. So that one house you talked about, did you end up keeping the pool? Did you
No,
flip that house?
I filled it.
Okay, got it.
So what we did was, we filled it. They have to, by code, the city code requires that they go in and punch holes in the bottom of it.
For drainage?
And what we did was we did that, and then you have to cave the top into the pool and then fill it. But we kept the concrete patio that went around the pool.
Okay.
And it kind of made like a nice little flower bed kind of thing.
Nice.
Kind of a raised bed sort of thing. It actually looked pretty good.
Nice. Very cool. Nice.
I should go back and see if I still have pictures of that. That house was a long time ago.
Right.
I bought that house sight unseen. Bought it from an attorney that I knew, and she had a hoarder in it, and he quit paying payments. He was buying it owner finance, and he didn't pay the taxes for several years. Well, with her being an attorney, she submitted all the tax stuff, the IRS stuff, that's required to notify them and see if they want to come buy that house or take ownership of it. Well, they didn't, so I was able to buy it. But because of what was going on, I had to buy it sight unseen.
Oh, goodness.
So I got a good deal on it. But man, the first time in that house, it was, I mean, you had a little walkway in the house. You had to turn sideways in to walk through. And, when you go file the eviction and then the writ of possession, which we had to, he drug it out for every day that he could. The pool, by the way, was full of junk, which the city wouldn't allow to be left. So I had to take that stuff out. But we had to move all the stuff. If you've ever done a writ of possession, you have to show up, meet the constable, and you have to have a crew of people there, not just you, but a crew of people with plastic bags. And you have to physically set out everything from that house to the street.
Oh my goodness.
As quickly as possible. So we were doing good. We got the house cleaned out. We thought we were done.
Are those state regulations or county regulations or?
I don't know if it's what regulation that it is.
Okay.
But the justice of the peace, when you schedule your writ of possession, your eviction, and then the writ of possession, they tell you what the requirement is.
Okay. Very good.
It's probably a county thing, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
But anyhow, we had to move it all out, and we thought we were good. And the constable left. Then I opened the pull down stairway in the attic. The attic was as full as the rest of the house.
My goodness. You're checking next time.
I mean, I just could not believe all that stuff. And then that only counted what was in the house. In a writ of possession like that, you only have to move what's inside the house. The whole backyard was full of garbage.
Sure.
Mowers, tires, wheels, the pool, he had been chucking things in it for years.
My goodness gracious.
Yeah, it was
an
adventure.
So
I
in
still
the
made
end,
money on it.
that's what I was going to ask. Yeah. In the end.
Yeah.
Goodness gracious. Have you done any deals in the White Settlement area?
But it's been a couple of years, but yes.
Okay, got it. I was looking at a property, and it seems that a lot of people are buying these older systems with the larger lots, and maybe even a double lot.
Yep.
And chopping that thing in half.
Yep, you can do that.
Yeah.
I saw one here recently in Weatherford that had 3 lots. But this property was a mess from the word go. I mean, way overpriced.
Goodness. What sort of diligence do you have to do with the city or the county in order just to see if that's a viable option?
You can go down and talk to the city folks, talk to code enforcement, find out what kind of violations they might have on it.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to think of the right name, not engineers, but the building, the permit type people, and
Uh-huh.
find out if you can, any special requirements there.
Sure.
If
Got
it
it.
hasn't been surveyed as a separate lot, you probably have to get it surveyed that way.
Mhm. Got it. Got it. Yeah. Yeah, we're seeing quite a lot of change just around the factory there in White Settlement. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
Definitely.
you know, it's always been a popular investor area.
Mhm. Yeah.
There are some areas over there.
Zoning?
What was that?
Were you thinking planning and zoning? Was
Yes,
that
there you go. Thank you.
Cool.
Planning and zoning.
Okay. Very good.
There are some areas in White Settlement you just got to be careful with, and make sure you know where you're getting into, what you're getting into.
Gotcha.
But you know, a lot of your older homes are on the east side of 820, and then you know the better side is on the west side of 820.
Mhm. Gotcha. Yep. 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 So yeah, it's been fun to watch just all the activity that's going on there. Yeah.
Are you in the plant over by the lake?
Yeah, I am. So just up Bomber Road,
Yeah,
and then all the way at the end of Bomber Road.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I worked there, and then I worked at Building 500 when it was still there. Now it's,
Oh my goodness, yes. Have they started to I know that's all been demolished. Have they started developing that at all?
I haven't been over there in a while.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
About a month and a half or 2 months ago, I happened to just be driving by there. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I remember that. Yeah, those were days gone by.
Ruth Ann, you have any questions, any good feedback for us, good info for us? Do you know when we're going to start seeing all these pre-foreclosures happening?
I haven't about that information, but we are doing the manufactured homes again, and I've had several of your members ask about manufactured homes. I don't know whether people are thinking more. Well, you have taken some on, I know yourself, and been very successful with them. So we have those back. You have to have really good credit score to get financed on a manufactured home right now because of all of the risks. But I'm sure I talked to.
How about as a investment property? You have an investment loan for them?
Yes, they only want a conventional loan, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
They want a 700 credit score and a conventional loan.
Oh, wow.
There's no prohibition for, investment, of course, would be 20% down. But, and our sister bank affiliation is opening up all kinds of stuff. I think I mentioned to you that I closed the first commercial office building, a small commercial office building that was a little over $1 million last week. And they were very excited about that. And of course, if you get in with the right, what am I trying to say? Group, background, ethnicity. If you get in and the first one's happy, you usually can do a lot more of them. So if you have anything commercial like that, I've got a good in with the bank and looks like a pipeline to send several buyers in for that kind of thing. I'm having fun with a little bit of this new stuff. I've got another mortgage company sending me land deals all the time. Investment in land right now, flipping of land is also a big deal.
Yep. We were
So if
talking
somebody
about it
found
before you
a-
came on.
Yeah, inexpensive piece of land, get an option on it or whatever. And because that is really something that's happening more than it used to right now, people buying raw land, just holding on to it.
The problem, I was just telling Ken this, we were talking about doing new builds instead of buying older homes. And the problem that I see is so many of these wholesalers, though, are just jacking those prices up where you still can't make any money on the land, just like what they're doing to the houses. They're jacking the land prices up. Now, if I can talk to sellers directly and get that land, then that's a different story.
Yeah. Now, on the new builds, my biggest problem with the new builds is that the same buyer goes looking for one who was looking for existing properties before, and the buyer doesn't realize, they hear, oh, well, your insurance is real cheap, so your payment's going to be low. You know, new construction, the insurance is very low. But then almost every new build has an HOA. So that adds not just to the closing costs, but to the monthly payment. They don't think about that. Some of them are pretty high. And if it's a development like a big builder, I mean, yours wouldn't be, so it wouldn't be subject to this. That would be good. But the big builders, the taxes are so high when they buy those big developments, and you know, the existing homes are still the only way that most low income borrowers or first time buyers can get into a deal.
Yep.
Unless they're just, you know, just out of college and big salaries.
Well, you know, the property tax issue was something that got us in trouble several years ago, right? When all the new buyers, young buyers were coming in and buying a new house, and the agents weren't forthcoming with them about, oh yeah, this is what your taxes are, they're cheap. Well, then you buy that house, and if you bought the house at your maximum income level, and then you have the taxes adjust for now there being a house on the property instead of just raw land, you know, they couldn't afford the house. And that's what got so many people in trouble.
And, you know, even though legitimate lenders like us have them sign something at closing, have them qualify for the full payment, they see that full payment on all of their documents. Okay. Even though they see it, when they get a refund of their earnest or their escrow money, they spend it on a vacation, and then they are mad because they can't keep the house.
Yep.
So we are big time, you know, we have them sign several documents about what the payment really is.
Yep. That's like when I go talk to a seller about selling their house, you know, and I want to know about, you know, are they in arrears and how much and stuff. And they might say no, but I'm going to ask the question 2 or 3, 4 times different ways. And then sometimes they're going to come up with different answers. And then the truth comes out, you know, so they hear what they want to hear. They see what they want to see. So you're doing the right thing, asking for all those.
And, you know, it seems like if I ask the people, you know, how do you think your credit looks right now? Have you seen a credit score lately? They'll say, oh, I have good credit with a T or with a K, and then it'll be awful. And if they say, well, I'm really not sure, it may be a little low, it's actually close to 700. So I usually, you know, listen carefully to that and then let them know where they are.
Yep.
We do have a lot of buyers now who can qualify that couldn't be before, because the secondary market is allowing us to, not the secondary market, but the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are allowing us to use only 0.5% of their student loans. You keep hearing student loans are keeping people from buying. Well, now we can use as little as 0.5% of their balance, which helps them a great deal. That's half of what we used to have to put in.
Yep.
So,
well, good.
That's good.
Good. So, Ken, do you have any other questions? I mean, this is a pretty small crowd today, and it could be because of this link issue. You're muted, Ken.
No, I was going to say, this is great. I love this small group. I feel like I hit the lotto here. This is good. It's great to hear, Ruth Ann, your insights. You're with Service First Mortgage, is that right?
Right.
Yeah, okay. I just want to pull that up because I've seen you on previous calls, and I know you've introduced yourself. So,
well, we're really a traditional lender, but with this bank affiliation now, being able to do interim financing and, like I mentioned, commercial and raw land and all is a fun new thing for me to get into. But you know, the meat and potatoes is what I love. And then also what we're doing that a lot of companies have not been able to do is we don't have to sell our loans. We've been in the business so long, we've had an agreement with Freddie and Fannie and all so long that we can service our own loans.
Mhm.
And we now are doing what we're calling the just missed loans. So if somebody didn't have quite enough time self-employment or quite enough time on the job because they totally changed industries, some lenders require 6
Mhm.
months in a new industry. If there's no college, to back it up, things like that. Or if their credit is almost there, or
Mhm.
if they just can't qualify for any down payment assistance, but they don't have enough funds, they can't have get a seller pay their closing costs. If we know that they could qualify for a loan in 12 to 24 months and they're good, we would make the decision if we were on a committee to give them money. We'll go ahead and close that loan and put them in a house today and then refinance them in 12 to 24 months. We'll just keep that loan either in our own portfolio or at the bank, park it there, and then refinance it and pay the bank off, when it comes to where they have saved enough additional money or they've been on the job long enough. So that's going to help a lot of people who've had to wait and put off. And look what prices have done while they've been putting this off.
Sure, no doubt.
I'm actually
Goodness.
hoping prices don't go up. Isn't that awful? I really hope they don't go up because I've got drawers full of people that are pre-qualified that need to buy and can't find anything in their price
Mhm.
range.
Gotcha.
That's
Gotcha.
sad.
Tim, have you done any out of state investing, or is most of your stuff in this area?
Well, yes, I have, but in Florida, but it's been a long time ago. So now everything's in Texas.
Yeah, nice.
I had a rental for many years in Florida, which was purposely bought near my family. So I had a tax write-off when I went down to visit.
Yeah. So I was actually meeting with an old friend here in the Palmdale area last night. He was telling me about his house in Fort Worth that he still owns, and they had actually rented it out. And their first management company, they were not very happy with them. And actually, the first tenants had actually done significant damage to the property, like on the order of $30,000 over they had it rented for like 2 years and ended up with a bill like that to rehab their own house. And I was just curious, is the property management, is there any sort of liability from the property management in an instance like that?
I'm going to say it probably is if you're not set up and doing the right things and insured and so forth. If you're just doing it haphazardly, I would think you'd have a lot of liability in it. We have a new property management company as a sponsor now, John Beeman, and I'm giving him my new Burleson property to manage. It's being rehabbed. It's supposed to be done 5th of November, but I like him. I mean, he seems to be right on it. He's got good answers. His analysis is great. His strategy is everything that I've heard from him is really good. So I'm excited to let him take this thing over.
Mm-hmm.
I've always felt there's a liability, and I've kind of shied away from it, but I've had a lot of opportunity to manage property for other people. So I've chosen not to do it.
Uh-huh. Got it.
Even though I do it for my own,
mm-hmm.
and probably do it better than a lot of property managers. But I just have not taken on that risk.
Yeah.
I mean, part of it is just having time. I don't have time now to do what I do.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. And that's just kind of a whole lane in itself, right?
Right.
Building that kind of a business, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, probably one of the biggest things is pre-screening and making sure you're getting the right analysis, background checks and stuff done, you know. And then make sure you're complying with all the Texas property code requirements for property management.
Gotcha.
Tim, do you think that their previous landlords are reluctant to tell the truth about whether they were good tenants or not for fear they'd come back on them for some reason?
I've always thought that if they're currently in that landlord's one of their properties, they don't want to tell them the real truth about how bad they are, because then they may not
can't
get
get out.
accepted and leave. So, you know,
encourage them that way, huh?
and I'm sure that that is true with some people, you know. Some of the recommendations that I've gotten from previous property managers, you know, and then seeing the end result of what they've done in my property over time, you got to wonder, did they tell me the truth or not?
Well, like Ken's story about 30,000 damage, Ken was part of that, or was it you, Tim, who was talking about that, a property that had $30,000 worth of
That was a
damage?
friend of mine that I just had dinner with last night.
That's what
Yeah.
I thought. So was
Yeah.
that water damage or?
I have no idea what they did. They didn't set it on fire, but whatever they did, the bill was $30K.
Well, I've heard some really big numbers on water damage, especially on that storm we had this spring.
Yep.
You know, where there were busted pipes, but something intentional or something, boy, that's bad.
Yeah.
My last story was right at the very beginning of COVID in March of 20. I had a tenant that abandoned a property. She knew the eviction was coming, and she abandoned the property. And when they took the washer and dryer and disconnected them, the water shut off for the washer wouldn't shut off completely. And they went out to shut off the main water line, except they didn't shut it off all the way.
Oh, goodness.
And several days later, when I knew she was gone, but I couldn't prove it. So I couldn't go in until after I had gone to court or I got proof that she was gone. And when she turned the power off, I knew. So when I went to the house, it was flooded. The laundry room, the water ran under the walls into the living room, kitchen area, and did a bunch of damage.
Yeah, goodness.
And, I've thought about going and filing a small claims court judgment on her, but, and there's no doubt I would win. But the thing is it worth all the time and money and effort to do that? One of my attorneys told me years ago, at some point you got to make a decision. Is it worth throwing good money after bad if you're never going to get it?
Right. Goodness. My goodness.
And this single mother was a piece of work.
Goodness. And
every time I try to help somebody, and I tried to help another realtor friend. This was one of her high school friends. I bent the rules a little bit trying to help her.
Yeah.
Didn't work out.
Yeah. That's great advice. Great advice. Hey, can I ask you a question about how you're structured? I know you're involved with Anderson, and I'm just curious, are you a real estate professional, or how does your business kind of structured, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, that's a question I haven't looked at in a long time, but I'm pretty sure I'm classified as a real estate professional because I am full-time. And that's what I do. So, that it is a discussion though that you need to have with your attorney and with the CPA to make sure that they know what you're doing and how often you're doing it. I can't remember all the criteria for answering
Sure.
that question.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure that I would be considered a real estate professional.
Gotcha. So when you buy new investment properties, do you do anything special with those? Do you do anything like a land trust, or are they just bought by your company, or how does that
So
process work for you?
it depends on what I'm doing. If I'm buying them to flip them, what I've been doing is putting them in my corporation.
Okay.
My S corp was designed for that purpose. I really should start putting those in a trust name, but the trust just increases the amount of work involved to be able to do that. But from a asset protection anonymity purposes, that's what should be done. If I'm buying them to keep as a rental, or if it's a subject to deal that I'm going to rent or owner finance, then I'm putting them in the LLC in a trust.
Okay.
So we, for example, the house we just bought in Burleson was put in a trust, and then one of my LLCs is the beneficial interest of that trust.
Okay.
And that is really the best thing to be doing. I've thought about even doing that with ugly houses, wholesale deals, go ahead and close on them, put them in a trust, and then sell them as a package with the trust.
Okay.
Because other people would pay to have that asset protection.
Okay. So
But
there's a value add by having that in a trust.
Yep.
Interesting.
Now it creates a little bit of a headache for people like Ruth Ann, because they won't fund those properties in a trust.
You have to deed it out of the trust to yourself, then refinance it or whatever, and then put it back in.
I was listening to the Tax Tuesdays, I think, that Anderson does, and they were asking about that. And that's like, well, what about the asset protection part of that? And if I remember right, the thought was, well, you're selling it anyway, so it's not really, it's no longer an asset to you because it's going out of the trust to be disposed of, right?
If were they selling it with a trust or in a trust, where that would really come in is where if you're going to have a long-term buy and hold investor,
I can see
or
that.
a cash buyer.
Yeah, I can see that.
From an asset protection perspective, because then that buyer's name is never going to be on public records.
Right.
If that buyer has to finance it, then the fact that they're taking it out of the trust, putting it the buyer's name,
Absolutely,
back in the trust, now your name is going to be in that chain of title.
Sure. Yeah. You defeated what you were trying to buy. Yeah. That's very cool.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. So far I've been very, very happy with Anderson. I think I'm, the last time we talked, you had mentioned that, there's a lot that they have to offer.
Oh yeah.
And it's worth digging in to see how that will benefit your business.
They did my entities probably 15 to 18 years ago, and they offer far more than what I use with them, but they're good. I mean, from an entity structuring and a tax strategy type perspective, they know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you're still involved with them on a regular basis, but what I heard was that they were opening up a Dallas office.
Oh, I haven't heard that.
Soon. Yeah, sometime soon. So I might be taking advantage of that. So.
Well, you can always sign up with them. You don't have to wait till they come to Dallas. But
oh yeah, no, I'm already in their fold. So I just did that about a month and a half ago. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. So I've been very happy so far. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, they have a
Um,
lot of good education. They teach a lot of classes.
They do, and they have some great. Well, you've folded them into some of your Saturday. I've done their asset protection.
Yeah.
I was actually going to fly to Charleston and take that course just before COVID. So
Yep.
now everything's online, which is great.
Good.
Yeah,
I think I first saw them years ago at a Ron LeGrand event out in Vegas.
Mhm.
So,
Nice.
okay.
Trying to think, Ruth. I'm hoping we can be talking here sometime soon. I am on the hunt for single families right now, so it just might be I might be talking.
Hey, Ken, if you have anyone who needs financing in Florida, we have I have a coworker who's licensed there
Okay.
and could get you what you needed there also.
Okay. How about South Carolina?
I could check. You have someone in
Okay.
South Carolina?
Yeah, it's a goal of mine to do some long distance investing in the Charleston area. I've got family there.
Okay, I'll let you know.
Yeah, please. I put my contact info in the chat.
Great.
Ken, going back to your question about the nationwide, long distance investing, out of area investing, just to give you a little food for thought, when I first got in the business, I heard all these people talking about buying nationwide and stuff, and when I first got in the business, I started advertising and I was getting, contacts from all over the US,
Sure.
And the thing that held me off on doing it, and it's probably easier today with technology as it is, it wasn't so easy back then, is you got to make sure you build a team with people you can trust.
Absolutely.
So you've got to do your due diligence, make sure you know who these people are.
Well, it's no different than the team you've got here that's making you successful, right?
Yep. You have to have somebody on the ground in that area that you're considering buying that's going to be able to look at it, take the pictures, pull comps for you, and be able to trust that they're doing the right thing for you and not just worried about getting paid.
Sure. And
you end up with the short end of the stick. So that was always a big factor for me. That's one reason why I never pulled the trigger doing any nationwide stuff. There's people that swear by it. There's people that teach it. It's just not for me.
Sure. Yeah.
But that is one thing that you really have to do is build that power team. One of the things that I would probably recommend as a place to start building your power team is go to the local REIA groups in those markets.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And reach out to the club owner and ask them for recommendations, or maybe they can help.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they know somebody in the city that you're trying to invest in.
Gotcha.
But those REIA club owners might be a good resource for you.
That's great advice. Thank you.
And depending on where you want, I've got REIA club owner contacts, very large group around the US as well.
Great.
So I may be able to help you with some of that.
No, that's great. I'll take advantage of that. Yeah.
But Google knows a lot too. So
yeah. I've been happy with Bigger Pockets on some of that as far as contacting other individual investors, realtors, and but you're right. That you can't stress enough how important that reliability is.
Yep.
In that.
And again, Bigger Pockets is a big organization, but there's a lot of newbies in there that don't have a clue.
Absolutely.
So you still have to do your due diligence.
Oh yes, very much so. Yep. No. Yeah. I've had swings and misses with some of that. Yeah.
Ruth Ann, I saw you one of your offices down in Burleson the other day.
Did you?
Coming back from my Burleson house there on was it Highway 170 going through Burleson? or 174 going west from
Sounds right.
35. And I just happened to look over and there's your office.
That was originally a Sendera mortgage office. And I guess maybe almost 3 years ago is when we took over their mortgage entity. And we acquired offices I had no clue about when that happened.
Okay.
So, yeah,
Cool.
we took on a big batch of loan officers and business when we did that. That was a pretty large company. So, I mean,
You took over all of Sendera?
Sendera Funding. Yeah.
Okay.
And they are no longer, but that's where we got our sister bank. We couldn't buy the bank at the beginning. They'd already sold it before we heard about the opportunity.
Okay.
But that person who bought the bank or company didn't want the mortgage entity, so we took that. And then later we got a chance to buy the bank. So that's how all that came about. So that bank's changed hands a couple of times,
Okay.
but we're excited about it.
Years ago, I was selling a house that a buyer was coming to, to buy this house with Sendera, through Sendera. And in the end, we ended up getting that lender, that loan officer that was doing the loan, got them fired.
Oh,
I don't remember all the details, but they were crooked, as all get up. And, they were doing stuff that, they were supposedly approved when they weren't approved. And, they extended when they shouldn't have never been approved. And it was just a big fiasco. And I ended up losing on the short end of the stick. But I don't remember what the deal was now. It's been so long ago, but it was Sendera.
gosh. Every once in a while you get a bad apple in the bunch.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we do.
You get somebody who thinks the rules don't pertain to them.
Yep. Ken, do you have Ruth Ann's info, or does she need to put it in the chat?
I do. I just looked it up here on the website. It's in my notes, my old notes from these meetings too. But yeah, I've got it right here. Yeah, thank you.
I'll email you too on that, Ken.
Please, yes, that'd be great. Great.
Ruth Ann, do you write blogs?
I know you have asked me to, and I am beginning to put my hands on some stuff for you. I really am. I pay a company to do that, but that girl's had some heart issues and I haven't been pushing her. So she helps me take the information I'm interested in putting in and kind of, massage
Like
it
copy for
to
you.
fits the situation.
Yep. So just keep in mind that, anytime you have something like that, you're welcome to post it on the group blog. So I need stuff to do that. I can't keep up with it all. Let me see if that ain't the blog. Oh, geez, what did I do with it? Well, what am I doing here? We have a blog here that I can either make you. Why is this not? Can you see the page now?
I see your page that has print first time guest name tags was one of the major.
Zoom's so fussy about pages you're
There's
sharing.
there's the West.
Yep. So when you come over here to resources and blog, I can make any member a blogger that can go in and do their own blogging, or you can give me the content. I offer that up hesitating because it's time consuming for me to go do it. But I need the content. I need that education, and I want especially for the sponsors, I want the sponsors to be able to blog and promote your business on the group page. So it is going really slow here. Not quite sure why that's doing that. But yeah, anytime you have a topic you want to post about, if you want to do that, I can make you a blogger. It's pretty simple to do it, but you know, you got to have the content, you got to get the any kind of images that you want to use and so forth, you know. But like I said, we can do it for you if necessary. I'm not sure why
Sometimes you can't teach an old dog new tricks, so I just pay somebody to do it for
Yeah.
me.
No, I understand. You know, I just thought of something, Ken. I think there's one thing we started talking about. I'm not sure how we stopped. Looks like the page isn't going to open for us. Yeah, something's going on. Okay, that was VAs.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we finished talking about that, did we?
You said you've been using them for quite a while.
Yeah, I've used VAs for probably 12, maybe 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I just hired a new one a week and a half ago. And it's going to take a little time to get them, you know, get her trained to what I want her to do.
Sure.
Everybody uses them different. Some people want to turn their whole business over to the VA and have them do everything. I don't use them for phone calls, and that's what a lot of people do is they want the VA to make calls for them. I use them really for administrative things and marketing, doing website stuff, editing blogs, creating images and video. They're very good with computer type stuff usually. So that's why I tend to lean towards that. And it doesn't take an awful lot of my time, you know, trying to help them through that.
Mm-hmm.
This girl happens to be very familiar with Canva, which is the graphics program
Sure.
we use for creating, editing images. So she's already jumped on that. She's getting familiar with my investor websites and blogs. So she's trying her hand at the first blog editing right now. And she knows a little bit about SEO, so she'll be helping with that too.
Nice.
So that's the kind of thing though that I use them for. She'll eventually be able to start posting some of the calendar events for the group meetings and stuff like that, but it's just going to take a little time to get there.
Sure. Nice.
Speaking of that, I do not have the November event posted yet. I just been overloaded and doing too much myself, so I'm hoping to do it today.
Good.
So
good. Are we going to have? Are you going to have the Saturday get together coming up?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The 2 November,
okay.
2 November, 4 November, whatever it is.
Yeah. Okay.
6 November. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
6 November.
That's next Saturday, right? Okay.
Next Saturday, yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't have it posted. I usually like to be, you know, 1, 2, maybe 3 months out in the future.
Well, as you know,
I
don't schedule it. It doesn't get that. Yeah.
I just have not. I just haven't had the time, and I don't have a speaker, so I'm going to end up doing something for it. So, and then December.
Is it going to be virtual, or are we going to have a get together?
It's a in-person meeting.
Good. Okay. Good.
If I do the Zoom as well, stream it live, this will probably be the last month that I'm going to do it like that.
Yeah.
It is too much work to do both.
Yeah.
And honestly, some of the other investor groups that I keep up with, they're finding that Zoom is, by taking away the virtual piece, they're having better turnout at the meeting.
Yes, and you know, during COVID, that's what I experienced. Is just somebody who was reaching out.
Yep.
And you know, I got in good with a group in Florida, which was great and lovely people, and then very supportive, and it was great. But then as as things started getting busier and more people, it almost became a distraction.
Yeah.
Is at least what I've seen.
There are people that aren't ready to go in group settings, which is fine. But there's a lot of people that are, and one of the big pieces of a REI group success is the physical meeting, shaking hands, and building relationships.
Absolutely. There's no real substitute for that.
Yep. And that is the benefit of going. Virtual, people are distracted, they get online and then they walk away from the computer.
Well, and it's hard. I mean, literally on this side, it's hard to hear. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you want to hear, and then, you've always got to be conscious of where the microphone is. And,
Yep.
I've had some bad experiences about this. People are trying, but yeah, you're absolutely right.
Do you hear me okay?
Absolutely. No, I've never had a problem with your microphone. It's been great.
I bought a new high-speed, high-tech mic
Nice.
and I had some trouble at the beginning with it, but it seems to be, the settings are good on it now.
Oh, it's great. Yep. Yeah. No.
Okay.
Perfect.
Well, listen, I think I'm gonna let you go. Sorry, we had such a small
Did
crowd.
Michelle get off? Or Ruth, I mean?
Say again?
Did Ruth knock off?
No, she's
No, I'm
still,
here.
Oh, there you are. Okay. I didn't see the whole chat there.
Yeah.
Ruth, it was great to talk to you. Tim, this has been a gift. Thank you for this time. I appreciate it.
it's your lucky day.
It was. It was great to talk to you all.
I purposely didn't let anybody else on, Ken, just.
Well, I owe you, sir. Beverage of your choice. That'll be great. Good.
All
Well,
righty.
I hope to come see you next Saturday. We'll see if I can fit that in.
Cool.
All right.
Well,
Take
watch,
care. You guys have a
watch for
great-
that announcement. It'll come out shortly. I hope it's
I will.
today, but
Sure enough.
um,
It'll be interesting to see if we find out what the cause is, if other people were trying to get in and couldn't. Or if
yep.
this just happened to be the way it worked out.
Well, it could very well be, since Ruth Ann had trouble. And when I went back into Zoom, I see that there's 2 links for today, which makes no sense to me.
Right.
So,
So well, we'll see.
okay.
All right. Y'all take care.
Take care. See you, Ruth Ann.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.